wanna pick up the phone and tell you that you're everything I need and more. Like a cold summer afternoon, like the snow coming down in June, like a wedding without a groom. I'm missing you. I'm the desert without the sun. You're the one that would bury mine. I'm the rain without a hand. I'm missing you. Every day I wanna pick up the phone and tell you that you're everything I need and more.
Yes, 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 yes. We're gonna have a special guest tonight. We got Case, R&B legend. You know what it is. Tonight it's a special night, 90s exclusive. Alright, so tonight it's Case. Yo! Alright. So what's poppin', everybody? Good meeting. It's Wednesday, June 3rd. Tonight we got a special guest. We got Case in the building. I don't even know what to say. You know what I mean? It's the one and only. Alright, let me put the volume up on this here right here. So we're gonna let everybody come in tonight. We got Case in the building. You know what it is. We excited. Hopefully y'all excited. He's here right now, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, we're gonna bring Case to you. All right? Hold on. Gee. We're gonna have him live right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is beautiful, legendary.
What up, bro?
We got the legendary, all right? The legendary R&B artist. We got Case in the building. How are you, my brother? How's everything?
I'm good, man. Can't complain. Just dealing with everything that's been going on. It's a lot, but I'm still here, so I can't complain. How you?
Oh, you already know what it is. We're out here. We bless Canada.
Yes, sir.
It's my birthday weekend. Tomorrow's my birthday.
Okay, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Only want to get the heavy hitters. You know what I mean? So we here. So,
Yes,
Case,
sir.
let's start off with bring us back from the beginning of the whole movement, because a lot of people don't know Case is actually your actual government name. So it's not
Yeah.
an alien. Case is actually your government.
Yeah. That's actually my name. Yeah.
So let's go with the whole. How did it started? I mean, we seen the interviews, we seen the finding Case, but explain to the audience how it began. I know it's repetitive, but explain how it is.
Okay. I started singing, like, I don't ever remember not singing. So I was singing all my life. And I got to a certain age, I started doing demos and wanting to be an artist. So I'm doing demos and trying to get noticed. And Misa Hilton, stylist, me and her went to high school together. And so she came to me one day and she was like, I see you trying to do your thing. I'm trying to start a management company. And so I signed with her, and she started managing me. She got Faith Evans to write a song for me called "Don't Be Afraid," and Russell Simmons heard "Don't Be Afraid" and he signed me. Basically, that's the short version.
That's the short version.
That's the short version.
Short and sweet. So, with everything going on today and with the COVID and whatnot, how did that affect you personally with the fact, there's no tours, there's no bookings, there's no, I mean, I've seen a lot of people doing a lot of virtual stuff over Instagram, they're doing concerts, speech, reviews and whatnot. So how are you keeping yourself maintained and sane through this whole COVID-19 business?
Well, actually, we're doing a virtual concert on Friday.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah, me, Dave Hollister, and Carl Thomas on ksweatlive.com. We keep sweat. So other than that, I mean, I just been in the studio at the house, writing, recording stuff, putting ideas together. And that's really all you could do. You know what I mean? It's all the shows got canceled, so you
All
just
right.
here.
So I had a guest a couple weeks ago, and I was asking them if you could write a song for any artist, dead or alive,
Hmm.
produce, arrange, whatever. Because a lot of people don't know you're a songwriter as well, not
Hmm.
only an artist. But if
Right.
you were to write a song for any
Hmm.
artist, dead or alive, who would that be, and why?
Uh, Probably Michael Jackson because his voice and his the way he emotes is just ridiculous. I actually have a song that I wrote that would have fit Michael Jackson.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so just to be able to hear, just to be able to hear him, I would just let it be in the studio with him doing vocals actually. Like I wouldn't even have to have written the song. Just let me be a fly on the wall. So
Yo, Michael Jackson, the greatest, right? The king of pop. So,
yeah, yeah. So that would be dope.
all right. So I had a few artists that hit me up on the DM,
Mhm.
and they want to know, since you've been in the business for so long, you've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. What should a new artist look for a contract when it comes to a record label? Because I know you had your ups and downs with
Right,
certain
right,
labels,
right, right.
but for a lot of artists ask me that, yo, ask Case, like what's the number one thing you should look at a contract for a beginning artist, like an artist just starting the business,
Hmm.
the element they should see in a contract.
The first thing I would look for is make sure they're not trying to take your publishing because that's like the most important thing. Um, you because that's for life. Like you always get paid from writing songs. And if they take the publishing, that's pretty much it. So if I had to say one thing, I would say that definitely.
All right, so make sure. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, if you have a record deal, make sure the label don't talk. So don't take publishing at all, or just don't take
Nah, leave it alone. Don't
leave it
touch
alone,
my publishing. Yeah,
not negotiate. All right, we don't.
yeah. I
Not
wouldn't I
negotiate.
wouldn't do that. Yeah. Never do that.
So what's a good percentage between the artist and the label? What should it be, like a 60-40, 50-50? What's a good percentage that a new artist should be looking for?
Well, things are different now, so I don't even know how them deals are now. I'm independent now, so I don't know, but they have a the way the deals are structured now is a lot different. I would say don't take a 360 deal, but I think everybody should pretty much know that by now. But percentage wise, I wouldn't even know how they're structured different now.
So speaking about being independent,
Hmm.
what's the pros and cons of being independent in your perspective?
Well, the pros of it is that you can do what you want when you want. You don't have the pressure on you of you have to meet this date. You have to make this kind of music. You can make what you want. You can make it when you want. You can say what you want. Um, you can spend as much time. You can devote as much time to promoting it as you need to, as opposed to on a label. A lot of times it'd be like, okay, we gave this song 3 months. It didn't work. We need to move on. You don't have to do that when you're independent. You know what I mean? Because you're on your time schedule. So that's definitely a pro. One of the biggest cons I would think, and I don't even know if you can really call this a con, is just that you don't have the resources that a label has, and so everything is on you to do without those resources. So it's like a lot more work. It's harder, but I mean, like at the end of the day, you get more profit. So
No, that's what it is. All
yeah.
right. A lot of ladies hit me up when I announced that I'm gonna have Case on the live. You know what I'm saying? So here's question number one for one of the audience:
Hmm.
what not to do on a first date with a lady?
Uh, Talk about your ex. That's probably a good thing not to do. Yeah,
And,
yeah.
what would be a good thing to do on a first date?
Be attentive, listen.
Pay attention. All right,
Yeah,
ladies,
definitely listen. Yeah.
heard that. So back to the songwriting.
Hmm.
What is your process when you go into a song? Is it the melody first, then you write it, or you write the song then the melody?
Um, it depends. It historically has always been the melody first, but there have been times when I have a lyric and I fit it in. So it just depends on how it comes to you. There's been tons of songs that I've written where I only had like maybe 2 bars, like la 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 la,
Hmm.
and that's all I had. And I just wrote a whole song just based off of that. So it just depends. Sometimes it's the melody. For me, most of the time it's the melody. But
Most
other time, yeah, for me, 99% of the time it's been the melody. But um, I remember Smokey Robinson told me one time to not box yourself into this is how I do it. Just let it happen however it happens.
and that's what it is. So, do you
Yeah.
find it to write for yourself or for another artist?
Probably for myself, I think. Because when it's another artist, you don't know what their expectation is. You don't know what even if they've told you where they want to go musically, you just don't know. You
You
know what I'm
don't.
saying? I know what it is that I want to do. Even if I don't know what I want to do, I know I have an idea of what I want to do. So, and I don't have to worry about anybody else's expectations if I'm writing for myself. If I hate it, I hate it. If I like it, I like it. So,
That's what it is. All right.
yeah.
Now, this might get a little personal, but I have a few people that were battling with substance, right?
Mhm,
And they're like, they know they read your story and whatnot. So,
mhm.
what would be a word of encouragement to overcome these, I guess, these demons, right? As they would say, you know what I mean? Like, what would be like, what's a good process or a good meditation that you did that made you overcome these obstacles?
I wasn't battling no substances. I was good. Nah, that was me. Hell no.
No,
Nah.
as in your interview, with
When I said
the
like drinking and stuff like that.
BET, right?
Oh yeah, I still drink.
You still
I'm about to drink later. Yeah, it wasn't nothing I was battling though. Like, yeah, I was. Thank God because that
But
runs
I mean,
in.
if you had to give a word of advice to somebody who is battling or facing these obstacles, what would be a word of advice or a word of encouragement?
Probably just to, well, I would say to everybody to know their limits and do everything in moderation, but that's not always the case. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people get caught up in stuff and they don't realize that they're getting caught up. So, um, I don't know. That's kind of a hard one. I would say to kind of just know your limitations, I guess.
That's what it is. So
Yeah.
after COVID is over, what's the big plans for you in the future?
Uh, well, I got concerts. They all been pushed back. They haven't been
Yeah,
canceled.
of
They've been
course.
they've been
Yeah,
pushed back. So I got a bunch of concerts that's still coming up this year. I'm working on 2 albums right now, so that's it. Just get back to work, really.
that's that. So since there's like a '90s edition, so I want to bring it back to the '90s.
Hmm.
So explain to the people what was the climate of R&B in the 1990s, late '90s or mid '90s. Like,
Hmm.
what is R&B missing now that had it back then? You know what I'm saying? Because I know obviously you're in the background. You see, the old dudes, the new dudes.
Hmm.
R&B in the '90s and R&B and the new millennium.
See, I don't think it's missing anything now. I just think that in the '90s there wasn't so much music coming out all over the place. So it was more compact, and so you knew it was all together. You knew what it was. Now it's all over the place, so you kind of have to find the stuff that you like. The stuff that people like though is out there. You know what I mean? And I think that's the hardest thing is that it's harder to find it.
But do you think R&B today is missing more ballads? Do you feel it's too up tempo compared to back then? It was emotion, passion. There's
Right.
actually a message in the song compared to what we
But I
hear.
think but I think some of that still exists. It's just harder to find. Now, if you're talking about what's on the radio, then that's different because yeah, everything is missing from just about a lot of stuff on the radio. Like it doesn't have the soul that we had before. Um, Musically, it's not the same. Like there's no minor chords in the music, which is where all the feeling and the soul is at. So I think that part of it, yeah, on the radio. But if you really go and look for what you're into, you can find it. It's just a lot harder to do.
All right. So seeing that you had a good career, right, and you're still
Mhm.
going. So it's not the career's not over. You're still moving on.
Right, I think
Your best collaboration that you had from the beginning of your career?
the best one, well, definitely the most exciting one for me was the two I did with Charlie Wilson, just because from the time I was a little kid, he was like an idol of mine. And so I always tell the story that we had I wrote a song for me and him to do on one of his albums,
Okay.
and we had the when he was doing his vocals, I was sitting on the floor in the booth behind him, like just watching it. Like I'm like, and it was like crazy. I wish it was social media then. Like after I was done, I called my mom, I called all my friends. I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna believe I was sitting in the booth with him while he was doing his vocals. So that definitely stood out the hands down. That was the most exciting one for me. It was like being a little kid.
Oh no, for sure. Charlie Wilson is one of
Yeah,
the legends, right? For those who don't
yeah,
know,
yeah,
definitely
definitely.
him, and he's still active for what he's been through. Himself is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the
exactly.
the road still continues. There's never like an ending. You know what I mean? The road still continues.
Yeah,
Uh,
he always said it ain't over till you say it's
yeah,
over.
Bruno Mars. I think it was it came out this year. I think
Hmm.
Valentine.
Yeah, I love Bruno Mars. I
Beautiful
love
song.
I love Bruno Mars. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
the song you're talking about. Yeah, it's dope. Yeah, yeah.
So back to the artists. Let some of the artists. I have a few artists that's listening right now. R&B
Hmm.
and hip hop.
Hmm.
What should a label charge on your account that a lot of artists don't know? Because we hear different stories where, hey, why am I paying for this? Why am I paying for that? So what should a label actually charge? Let's just say a guy gets an advance of
Hmm.
100 grand. Let's just say 100
Hmm.
grand, right?
Right.
What grand entitles that person?
Well, they charge everything back to you, whether it be like I mean hotels, studio time. It's a little different now because you don't have to pay for studio time. Like you can do the album in your house, but studio time, hotels, travel, um, food, food at different photo shoots and video shoots. Uh, what else? You name it,
You
they charge you.
and how much you get taxed on 100,000? I mean, it probably be different in Canadian market, but in the
Yeah,
U.S.
it'll be
100,000,
different.
you're really getting out of the 100,000, 50,000.
Yeah, if you well, not it'll be a little more than 50, but it ain't gonna be too much more.
It won't be too much
It's
more.
it's close to it's like 43%, I think, 42 and a half, something like that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you had many tours,
Hmm.
many tours. So can you share one of the best moment on one of the tours that you
The best moment on one of the tours.
like city or this country or this state?
Uh, well, the one that was real fun was in Australia. That was a few years ago, actually. It was me, Ja Rule, and somebody else was on the tour. But that one was a lot of fun. It just that was the first time I've been to Australia. So, and
Okay.
we did the whole country. So we did about maybe 8 shows in Australia. We were from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, and then then back to America. So that one was fun because it was just a completely new audience for me, and I think it's like Australia is probably the prettiest place that I've been. So that one stood out a lot. A lot of the tours in the UK was dope. Um, I mean, in the States, I love going to Houston. I love Detroit.
Okay.
Um,
Good. Motor City. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely love Detroit. Just those historic venues. You know what I mean?
That's my
Where all of it, yeah, you know what I mean. And a lot of times there's venues where your idols they used to perform at, so it's that thing along with it. Um, so yeah, it's usually fun.
all right. So as a platinum artist and the popularity, and a
Mm.
lot of artists will not say this, but how annoying is it when you do autograph signing? Like, how is it like like you're there for hours signing, taking photos. So like explain to the audience like what to do at an autograph signing and what not to do at an autograph signing. Because I know I spoke to a few artists like,
Mhm.
yo, my G, this shit is treated like whack, but for publicity and rate tay, you gotta do it. But I mean, as an
Yeah,
artist,
it
you
can
know,
get a little hectic.
so what
Um,
your take on that?
Let me tell you what I've seen at autograph signing. This is funny. I had a chick bring a CD for me to sign, but it was a bootleg CD. She's like, I'm not signing that. She's like,
Oh,
what? I paid for it. Yeah, it was a bootleg CD. And there was a bunch of us on the panel signing. She had bootlegs of everybody's CD and nobody was signing, so she got mad. Or I hate when people have like a real hard, difficult name and get mad when you spell it wrong. Like I'm like, Shorty, you have to spell that for me. Like,
That's crazy.
yeah, yeah.
So what's the best cities? I know you mentioned Detroit and Houston and whatnot, but as far as touring and your hardcore audience,
hmm
what would be like your best city you experienced?
Um, there's a few. But I don't probably home, New York.
Harlem. Okay, yeah.
Probably back home in New York. It's always turned up in New York. But yeah, New York is always off the hook. But like I said, I love New York, LA, Detroit, Chicago, Houston. I love Chicago too. Houston, Atlanta is always crazy. Um,
ATL, Georgia. All right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not to get into heavy into the politics, because I'm not about the politics, but
Mm.
what's your take on what's going on right now with the whole I Can't Breathe movement? What's your
I
take
think
on?
it's sad. I think it's sad. I think it's sad for that he had to die like that. I think it's sad that the people felt like it was okay for them to do that to him. I I think it's sad that his family has to go through that. His children have to grow up and deal with that. I just think the whole thing is sad, and I think that it's gone on for way too long. And I hope that all of us as a people are fed up about it enough to actually be able to make something happen about it. Because we've been trying forever. This same thing been going on for God knows how long. Like I mean, for as long as I've ever heard. It's been going on. So I mean,
Nice.
I just think it's extremely sad. It's extremely sad.
And we keeping with that whole Floyd I Can't Breathe. Are you satisfied now that all four officers are in charge, or do you
Hell
feel
no.
will they take
Hell
way
no.
greater charges?
No, it's not even that. I mean, charging somebody and arresting somebody is not. That's that's just a first step. And I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I'm glad that they got arrested, but that's only a first step. Like, I mean, you think about how many people that we've seen get arrested. Cops, cops get arrested and they get charged and they get not guilty. George Zimmerman, not guilty. Like, and so now that's nowhere near enough. And even the cop, I forgot her name, that went in the dude's house and killed him. She got arrested. She got found guilty. For her sentence, she got 10 years. Like what? Like that's not justice. You know what I mean? So satisfied? Hell no. I'm glad that they arrested him. I'm glad that they charging him, but satisfied? Nowhere near. Mm-mm.
right.
Yeah, Amber Guyger. Yeah, that I ain't good.
No, that's
Yeah,
what it.
her.
No, I mean it's real sad. It's real sad that the because I had a conversation yesterday and I was like, it's crazy how it took a public outcry, a riot, pressure on the DA,
Right,
a whole bunch of discussion just to lay the first charge, which was on Derek, right? And
right,
then, and I'm like,
right.
investigating what? I mean, there was 5 different angles of the footage,
I mean,
but
I can understand investigating, but you can arrest somebody while you investigate. Because if it was me, I'd have got arrested on the spot, and then they'd have figured out they're investigating later. Um, but I mean, I guess they were trying to be safe or whatever. But my thing is that they would rather arrest thousands of people for protesting than arrest them 3 people that they could have arrested them and just continue to investigate. They do it all the time. They do it all the time.
and I mean personally, and it's sad to say this,
Mhm.
you're gonna probably get probation. You know what I mean? It's sad to say that,
Nah,
but
if they get probation, we gonna tear this bitch up. I'm gonna tell you that now. If they get probation, that ain't we gonna burn this bitch down.
you got to look at the facts, right? They got fired, so it wasn't even like they got. There's no justice right there. They just okay, you got fired. That's it. And then the public urged the DA to press charges, which to me is totally whack. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I knew they was gonna press charges. It's just that we needed all of them to be charged. I knew they was gonna. There was no way they was gonna not press charges.
No,
That's why they got rid of that first DA and sent it to the Attorney General. Like I knew they were gonna press charges. The thing that I want to see is if they get convicted and if they get a sentence that is justice.
facts.
That's what I want to see.
That would be one step for mankind. You'd actually get a sentence. You know what I mean? Because I know like the justice. I mean, they say put your trust in the justice, but I
Hell
don't know.
no.
System is kind of
It ain't. Nah, that's just us. The justice system is made to lock us up. It ain't made to lock them up.
That's
So
fact.
putting your trust in that, nah. So
All right.
we'll see what happens though. But there's a bunch of stuff that's gonna have to change. But probation, hell no. Even they know better than that.
Hey, I gotta look at it like this, right? If it took two weeks to press charges on one individual, and then maybe another week to press charges on three other individual, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, pretty much, right?
Nah, like ain't gonna be no probation. Like I said, we'll tear this bitch up.
Well, hopefully to get at least 10 years, 20 years. I mean, the
Nah,
money
them niggas need to get.
took a
They
life
need to
away.
get
They really
jail time.
the justice at least, you know. So
Yeah, they need to get football numbers like they give us.
facts.
Because
So
if not, they're like the only way to stop that other than that is when one of them when they take one of ours, we got to take one of theirs.
yo, it's funny that you say that because I think there's a movie coming out. There's a movie coming out where it
What about
depicts.
that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, where with the hood is
Because they
taking
understand
charge
that. They understand that. They
because
don't understand that all that other stuff. They understand that though.
enough is enough. You know what I mean? Enough is enough,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
hopefully they hear us now. You know what I mean? I do see it.
We'll see.
They see it now. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those.
Yeah, we gonna
Like
see. Yeah,
it's like that Central Park 5 when they see us now. You know what I mean? They see us. They hear us now. They see
yeah.
us and hear us.
If not, they gonna see us. Yeah, they gonna see us. Yeah, they gonna see us though.
Facts. So back to the music case. So
Mhm.
let's talk about that year in Def Jam. You know what I mean? I know it's bittersweet memories, but
Nah,
first,
I have good memories of Def Jam. I'm straight.
so when you got first signed to Def Jam,
Mhm.
what was the feeling going through your the whole because back then Def Jam was
Right,
that was the label, right? In the label
right.
it's you want to go to Def Jam
Yeah,
Russell Simmons and Leor and all that, you know what I mean, whatnot. So
right.
explain to them as a new artist, you got started to Def Jam.
Mhm.
What was the first task on the menu? What was Cave got signed, what's
Mhm.
next?
I mean, as it always is, the most important thing is the music. And so the first thing was to focus on making the right records. And that's always the main focus because if you don't have that, you don't have nothing. Like that's the basis of everything else. That's what's gonna make everything else happen. So
So the touring.
Mhm.
How crucial is touring to an artist?
Oh, it's extremely crucial because that money is all yours, pretty much. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about the label taking a cut of that.
Mhm.
That's where most of us make the majority of our money. Outside of writing, outside of songwriting. The songwriting lasts forever, but the touring money is a lot of money. So
And do you feel that in today's society, people don't really buy albums these days? It's more single driven.
yeah, it's been more single driven for a long time though. And then the streaming thing has made it, a lot more difficult. But um, even the streaming thing is a lot better if you're writing. If you wrote, you know, the material that's being streamed. So that always helps.
Fact. So
Yeah.
with streaming, what would you say is a slight advantage than back in the days?
Uh, just the access to it.
Okay.
Because remember back in the days you had to have a CD player and some headphones and go. I mean, now it's right there on your phone. So,
Facts.
I mean that part is a lot easier. But what's messed up about it is the way they moved the goalposts. Whereas a million of anything used to be platinum, and then now it's like what is it, 750 million is platinum now, or something crazy like that for the album.
Changed it. Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like I don't understand how they came to that conclusion. I don't know what they're doing about them laws, whatever.
Like when when you see the million plus sold, okay,
Right, right.
that now but now you're saying now they changed to 750, right? So 750
Yeah,
now.
it's crazy. So that part is definitely like a downside of it. But You know.
So out of all the albums that you made, what would be your favorite album that you made in the studio? Like obviously all your albums are like your
Mm-hmm.
baby. You know what I mean? Every album is a different era in your life. But I mean, which
Mm-hmm.
album that would you say was the best experience to you? Like the writing, the producing, the collaboration, the studio, the outcome of the whole album.
Open Letter. Open
Oh,
Letter is my favorite album. I did half of the album with Redhead Kingpin. I don't know if y'all remember him. He used to rap. I did half of the album with Redhead, and I did the other half with Tim and Bob. And I had such a good musical chemistry with both of them that it was, to me, that's definitely my favorite album, hands down.
that's good, man. I like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So in the near future, are we expecting any new collaboration with either another R&B artist or another hip hop artist?
Uh, I don't know. It depends because what I like to do as far as collaborating is make the music first and then see if it needs this person or that person, as opposed to trying to go into it like that because then you end up forcing it.
Okay, facts.
So yeah, you know what I mean? So I rather the music to tell you, you know what, this song with so and so would sound dope on this song. Just like I had a on the last album that I did with Teddy Riley and Tank. So me and Teddy had the song done already, and then I'm listening to it. I'm like, I can hear Tank on this, and it, you know what I mean. That's how I think is the better way to do collaborations.
That's what it is. So
Mhm.
if you have to pick your opponent for verses, who would you like to verse against?
Oh, I don't care. I mean, it's all fun. I don't care. It's whatever.
Whoever.
It's
Bring it.
whatever. Yeah, it's whatever. I mean, I can
Yo,
stand on what I did, and I'm sure they can stand on what they did. So
that's
it's
what it
all
is.
good. I'm with it.
That's what it is. So working with Foxy Brown on the Touch Me Tease Me for on the Nutty Professor. Well, first of all, when you did the song, did you know it was going to go on the soundtrack, or that was
Yeah.
what was out
No,
of
no,
the
no.
blue?
We knew it was going on the soundtrack because Def Jam had the soundtrack, and so they were like they were going to put a record on there. Yeah. So we knew it was going on the soundtrack. Yeah.
So being a single on that soundtrack, do you think that helped sell more records, or the song was hot regardless if it was on the soundtrack or not?
I mean, it was going to sell regardless. The reason why we put it on the soundtrack is because it goes back to what you were talking about earlier. If you put it on the soundtrack, the movie company pays for half of it. So,
Okay,
right. So you don't have that money don't come out of your pocket. So that was the reason for putting it on there. The only downside to that is that when that same song is on your album, people already have the soundtrack. So, you know what I mean? So I mean it's kind of
all right. So I have a question right here. How important is the DJ to an artist's career?
um depends. I mean, I don't think the DJ is not important to everybody's career. It depends on what type of music you do, what type of live show that you do. Um, Especially for R&B. Um, I've seen artists that probably a DJ wouldn't work too good with their live show. So it just depends on the artist.
That's what it is. All right, cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Yourself, you have a hype man or a DJ when you go on road?
yeah. I take my DJ with me. Yeah, DJ Mel Be Easy. Yeah, we get it in. We get it in.
So when you do your performance, do you prefer
Yeah, yeah. We get ours in.
like intimate settings, like where it's like maybe only like 40, 50 ladies, or do you like the big crowds, sold out arenas, and the whole the noise, or like which one of you feel is like more productive? I would say, like,
I
would you
like
say more intimate or the commercial ones?
I like a little bit in between because when it's too big, you can't. It's hard to connect with the audience. Even though I end up going in the crowd anyway. So, but when you have when it's too small, I mean those are cool too. But those in between venues are cool because you have the size and you have the people there, but you can also connect with them better. Because in those big arenas, the crowd is so far away from you
Facts,
that
facts.
it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard, And then you look in and you see the light. You can see his people up there. You can see them waving or whatever, but you can't see them. You know what I mean?
So what advice would you give a new artist, either R&B or hip hop, that's planning to like get into this industry? What would be some word of advice would you get an artist?
Just to have an idea of who it is that they want to be as an artist, what it is that they want to say, what they want to represent, and stick to that, because there's going to be a lot of other people who are going to have ideas about what you should make and what you should say and the type of music you should make. But what you have to realize is that at the end of the day, those people can always go get another artist. You can't go get another you. Your name is on there.
Hold on. All right. Now, with that being said, would you want to go back to a label with the Big Machine, or you're happy with being independent right now?
I'm happy with being independent. It would have to, if I did go back to the Big Machine, it would be a whole different situation than it was before, though. Like, and
No.
that's the good thing about being around so long. Now you can kind of tip the scales in your favor. So that's the good thing about that.
All right, cool. That's it. So right now, what do you see the state of New York in right now for the R&B? Like, what artists are you bumping right now that you're like, you know what, that kind of reminds me of me, or reminds you back, like, you know, like classic R&B?
The artists that I listen to, I love Ty Dolla $ign. I love
Yeah.
Miguel. I love Daniel Caesar. I love her. That's the most new R&B that I listen to.
So what were your top 5 Dead or Alive R&B? I know they always say top 5 Dead or Alive hip hop. What would be your top 5 Dead or Alive R&B?
Y'all do that. I
Doesn't have to be
Marvin Gaye, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway, and Aretha Franklin.
Woo, heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Heavy hitters.
Yeah, that's my top 5 all day.
And out of those 5, what song would you write if you had to put them all on one song? What would be a type of that song?
Hell if I know. I don't even know if I can write that song. That's a hell of a song to try to write. Man, listen, I don't know. I don't know. I have to see if I had that one in me. That's something right there.
That's what it is. But look, I want too much of your time. I got 2 more questions.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do your thing. So, one of the questions I ask all my audience is this, right? If you were a sneaker, what sneaker would you be and why?
If I was a sneaker, what sneaker would I be? I'd be an Air Jordan 1.
Okay.
That's what I'd be. Because those is like the original. Those take you back to when it was real, and that was the takeover as classic. You know what I mean?
All right. So listen, Case, I appreciate your time, my brother.
Thank you, man.
Pleasure talking to legendary R&B artists.
I appreciate you, man.
So I'm gonna let you do your shout out. Give you a shout out to who you got to shout out, and we're gonna keep it moving.
I want to shout out everybody. Thank everybody. Next year is my 25th year anniversary. So we're doing a whole big tour for Case 25, and so stay tuned for that. Thank y'all for the support.
Canada.
Oh yeah, we're going everywhere. We're going to Cuba. It's all type of stuff we're doing. So I want to thank y'all for the support. And like I said, Friday night on ksweatlive.com, virtual concert, me, Carl Thomas, and Dave Hollister. So y'all tune in, come check us out. And I love y'all. Everybody stay safe. And hopefully I see y'all soon.
Oh, hold on. I got one more question.
Mm-hmm.
A girl just asked, can you sing one a cappella real quick for the ladies?
Yes, what you want, that's what you say. And if this is so, yeah, why not today? 'Cause what I need it from you. So yes or no, baby, can I be with you? Oh, baby, now.
Hey! All right, ladies, you hear it? All right, live and direct.
Yes, sir.
All right, the legendary Case. All right, my brother, once again, thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Hopefully, we'll, you know what I mean, once everything, the COVID gets back to,
Yes, sir.
COVID gets rid of, hopefully we'll link up when you come to Toronto or Montreal or anywhere in Canada.
Yeah, I'll be in Toronto, actually, because I was supposed to be in Toronto next month. And I forgot when they pushed it to, so I'll be there soon, actually.
All right, cool, but yo, hit me up.
I got you.
You know what it is. Yeah, I love R&B. R&B's.
All right, I got you. All
right, my brother.
I appreciate you, man. All right.
All right, folks. So that was Case. All right, the legendary R&B. All right. So tomorrow we got Slim from 112 right here, 8 p.m. on my live. Okay. So ladies, you've seen it. It's not a game. It's not a joke. It is what it is. I appreciate y'all. Peace.